Hello. Today we're going to be talking about invisible forces, and today we're going to be looking at batteries. And we're going to be answering the question, is it true that opposites attract? Okay, so the first thing that we're going to look at is this battery that we have right here. And there are two parts to the battery. As you can see, we have a negative side and a positive side. So what we have in there are called ions. So, as you may have heard, matter makes up our entire world. Everything is made up of matter. And matter, or really any object, is made up of something called atoms, which are minuscule particles that you cannot see, but they make up everything that we can see, touch, feel, breathe, everything. And what ions are charged atoms. So really what we have here are what we have on this negative side are some atoms that are negatively charged. So you have some negatively charged atoms. And on this positive side, we have some positively charged atoms. Okay, but for our purposes today, the things that we want to remember are positive side and negative sides of batteries. And this is the same thing that goes with magnets also. And this is why magnets will attract towards each other. So, have you ever played with a magnet or a battery and you put two sides together and they don't stick? And then you flip it over and then you put that side together and it does stick together and magnetize? Well, that's because of invisible forces. So, what's happening all the time is although this might look just like a 2D battery, if it were in real life, there are actually forces, invisible forces that we cannot see coming out of each side of the battery. And we can't see or feel those forces. However, if you get an electric shock, for instance, if you are unplugging something and you get an electric shock, then you are feeling this force that has come out. But that happens in specific instances of electric shock. But for our purposes, we cannot see or feel these invisible forces. So let's look at these two, let's look at these two batteries up at the top. So there are invisible forces coming out of both of them. And what we know is that opposites attract and same sides repel. So opposites attract. Same repel. And what repel means is that they move away from each other. Okay, so we know this. So what do we have here? We have a positive side of a battery with another positive side of a battery. Well, that falls under this category of the same sides repel. So therefore, they are going to repel away from each other, and this battery is going to use its invisible force to push that way, and this battery is going to push that way. And if these were magnets, they would not stick together. It would be like you could push as hard as you wanted to, but they would not stick together because their magnetic forces are working in other directions. But now we have this example on the bottom, where once again, we have our invisible forces coming out of both sides. But here we have a positive side going to a negative side. Okay, well, opposites attract, like we know right up above in purple. So this battery is going to be pushing so this positive side of the battery is pushing towards this negative side of the battery, and the negative side of the battery is pushing towards the positive sides of the battery, and they are going to come together. And if these were magnets, then they would stick together. So next we have a fun little video to show you that I made along with my brother Noah, and it has some examples of how opposites attract, and it might help you remember that opposites attract and same sides repel. Thank you so much.
1, 2, 3.